viewers, this is Joe from ArtAlienTV, another game of interplanetary ice going on here. Today we're looking at Ceres, some recent images sent down from the Dawn mission, okay? Now there's two images that I'm going to be showing you today. This is the main one, PIA 21078, Occator on Ceres limb, okay? Here's Occator Crater, just here. The second image I'm going to show you, image 2, is this one. Now this is Occator Crater just down here with a different crater here. Part of Occator Crater, I think, is shown up here, okay? So this is kind of just next to this one, okay? Even though it's around the other way. Right, so I'm going to quickly show you a couple of clips of this. I've already made a video of this, but I'm going to do a talk over of the video because it's hard to get everything across that's in this image in a video with just text and music, okay? Or backing track. So I'm just going to show you quickly in the folder I got here a couple of clips. Now here's the Occator Crater image. Now pay attention mainly, don't look at any of the structures yet. We're just going to look at the quality of the image. Look how bad quality this is. There's really bad distortion in this image. Now this is being deliberately downgraded, this image, and when you compare it to, just see how choppy this is, just here, all this stuff here, it's very distorted, okay? Now I'll compare it to a close-up of that image 2 that we've got here, and it's perfectly clear, okay? Because this crater doesn't have any buildings in it, and it doesn't have lights in it, okay? So that says to me that they're deliberately trying to obfuscate the details in image 1, which is this one. Let's go back to image 1. Let's show a bit closer up. You can see all this choppy stuff here. See that? Look at all this crap. That is obfuscated. They are trying to hide the intelligent structures that are in this image. Okay. Right, now, before we go any further, I'm going to show you part of the video that I made this morning or last night and talk you through it, okay? Because this is probably a more efficient way of doing it, and it won't take so long this way. Okay. Now, the Dawn mission's been up there for over a year now, and we've been getting some great images, and everyone's been fascinated by these lights in Occator Crater, including me, and everyone's been focusing purely on the lights, and until now I don't think I've seen a very a close-up of Occator Crater from this angle. So far nearly all the images we've had of Occator Crater have been from above, looking down on the crater. Now that's all very well and good if you want to see these lights and possible city lights, as many people have called them. I'm not so sure they are, but they may well be. NASA called them salt deposits, even though these are fluorescent and glow in the dark. Even when the planet, this side of the planet, is in shadow from the sun, these can still be seen from millions of miles away. So it's unlikely they are just salt. I think that's a cover-up. But everyone's been so busy looking at these that they've not really been looking at the structures nearby, which you can now see here and here and here. These structures are enormous. The Occator Crater is approximately 2 miles deep, okay? So you can see up here the edge of the crater on the left, and some very straight parts to it here, which is rather odd. And you've got intelligent structures all through this part here, okay? I'm not saying all of these things are necessarily intelligent structures, but some of them are, and some of them are very, very large indeed. Over a mile high, this thing here, this block, and this multi-block thing here, some kind of tower block thing here, is also probably about a mile and a half high. Now, it is a little bit hard because they've obfuscated the image to determine whether some of these structures are behind or in front. So some of them look like they're piled up on top of each other. I'm not sure if they all are. But let's play through. We'll zoom in, and we'll get some different enhancements and different color filters here that should help. some of you see better and in some of these images, because basically if you get in too close, these become pixelated and break up, okay? But this is the one that caught my eye, this big square one in the middle here. I mean, I really cannot see how that is a natural structure, and if you look really carefully, it has parts to the edge of it here, equally spaced parts here, okay? You look real carefully. You'll probably see it now in the close-up. So there are multiple structures in Occator Crater. Now, is the light source, or this lit up area, a city, or is this a city and the light source is some kind of power plant? Or are they extracting energy from the inside the planetoid? There's a huge double square structure here. There's multiple stuff in here, but unfortunately if you get in too close, it doesn't really work. You've got to sort of sit back a bit and squint your eyes a little bit, because they have really kind of tried to destroy the information in this image. Okay, so there we have it. I think that pretty much covers it. Now, on another part, no, let's actually let that play through. Now, this is Occator Crater in the bottom right here. So now we're looking above Occator Crater and over towards the north pole of Ceres, and we have here some extremely large cube-shaped structures, okay? 1, 2, and I think there's another one here. We also have linear structures here, and here, and here, okay? Now, I don't highlight all of these because they're all over the place. I'll let that play through. It will pick them out for you now. It will highlight the various different parts. Now, it does help to use a blue filter when looking at these things, I find. If, like me, you're colourblind, often it does help. But you can see clearly these are massive structures. Now, these are probably over a mile high. Bear in mind this crater is 2 miles high, okay? These are further away and still look very large. So 1 to 2 miles high, some of these things. This is miles long. I would say, let me pause it there. This thing here, which looks like some kind of massive bridge structure, and another one here, they're about the same size. These are probably something like I would say 2 to 3 miles in length, okay? These bridge-like structures. I don't know what they are, I'm just calling them bridge-like structures because that's what they look like. There's also more rectilinear and square rectangular structures here in Occator Crater, but they're not that clear. This is on the opposite side of the crater. So I'll let that play through. So here's a close-up. Now, of course, when you get in close, it doesn't get any better, but you can see how square these structures are, with square structures next to them, okay? Now, I appreciate some of this is down to pixelation, but these are way, way bigger than the pixels, because they're so huge. I'm not saying everything we're looking at here is artificial. I'm just saying that some of these structures are very, very large. This thing here actually goes right across there. It's miles long. If these are over a mile high, this structure here is 3 to 4 miles. Couldn't say exactly, but they're very, very large indeed. There's also this rather strange thing here. There's another kind of structure up here. Of course, this is much further away, so we're not seeing it in such clarity. But these must be massive, massive structures, and this thing sticking up here also. I mean, they're everywhere. But of course, when you get too close to these things, they do blur. And here's image 2. I just put this in for a comparison to show you how much clearer this image is, okay? Compared to image 1 of Occator Crater. And there we have it. I've already showed you the still of this anyway. But look how clear and unblocky this image is, okay? That's because it hasn't been downgraded. And in fact, I'd say 98% of all the images of Ceres we have are good quality TIFF images like this as well, and they're not obfuscated. So there's obviously something they don't want us to see in Occator Crater. Why else would they be putting out images that have been damaged? Okay, so this is another case of NASA trying to sidestep reality and manipulate history, as they have done with the moon, and they are trying to do with Mars at this very moment. And this, if you just download both, I mean, the TIFF files aren't very large. For the this is Occator Crater again. This one, it's not even a megabyte. Okay, this one's not even a megabyte either, but this one is far superior and hasn't been messed with. Is this evidence they are trying to manipulate history as they have done with Mars and the Moon, as I just said? I think so, and I'm not saying all the people at NASA are evil. I'm sure there are some nice people there at NASA and JPL and all these companies that work for them. Some of the people there, I think, have their hands tied and must be quite annoyed that these things are being manipulated by the hidden hand, the puppet masters that be in America and possibly other countries as well. It's a real shame, but these things still come through because these images are so, there's so many of these images, and these structures are so enormous. It's very hard to hide such large structures. Let's just go back again to see those from further back, okay? Let me just pause that. There we go. There's a nice bright one there. Let's let that zoom in. Okay, that is not a natural structure. I'm not saying all of these are buildings. I'm saying that some of these larger structures are so enormous. That's pretty much a perfect rectangle. You have squares, you have squares, you have a couple of squares up here, you have multiple structures here, okay? Probably easier to see when you zoom in here. I mean, that is not a mountain, okay? Thanks for watching, everybody. I'll see you soon.